Now, when Miss Williamson and Cozaire came together, there was also Easter Seal was also involved, and I can't
Right.
remember who was the person at Easter Seal.
Ramel Patterson.
Ramel.
Patterson?
Ramel.
Yeah, no,
Before her?
for her. Yeah.
Okay, no, I don't remember.
There was someone before Ramel who worked with Marion Williamson, and they formed the Commission for Handicapped Children, and then Sister Kenny from England came over to kind of review. Sister Kenny was very famous at that time, and she came over to kind of review, and there was also a newspaper article on her. So when Marion Williamson really got it going, I don't know the date, but I know that it was earlier than 100 years.
Okay. So she was
Because
so-
by 100 years, they were beginning to do service work. Let's see, that would have been
I think 1926 is when we were. They said we-
26.
Right.
I think,
We
I may be
started.
wrong. I don't see, I was, at 26, I was just 2 years old.
Right.
No, I
You
wasn't
weren't in-
born.
No, you were just a thought.
Yeah, I was a thought. And
It's not making
when I
older
went to
than
the
he is.
commission, I put names down here. The ones who were really active. Well, I put names and
Of people you work with, like that have
Okay.
to, yeah.
Miss Williamson, Easter Seal, I don't know who it was, but there was somebody at Easter Seal who worked with her, but there was another woman, and I can't remember who that was. That was before Ramel.
That was before Ramel,
Patterson.
yes.
And anyway, they came together, and the commission was established, and at that time, I think it was part of Cozaire, and their locations eventually they had the main clinic and office in Louisville, and then they had Covington. They had an office there where they did physical therapy. Mildred Nelson is the person who was in charge of that. And that was right there in the heart of Covington. And then they had Lexington, and Lexington was a larger clinic. They did much more there. They did surgery, physical therapy, speech pathology, audiology, and they had a lot of physician care there. And then the next location, that was Covington. The next one was Lexington, and in Lexington, they really had a fairly large clinic. Then Bowling Green came in, and in Bowling Green, you had primarily speech therapy and hearing and physical therapy and doctors' clinics, apartments. And after that, let's see, Bowling Green, Ashland got into the picture. They had an office in Ashland, and one of who is it that's
Denzel was Bowling Green.
yeah, Denzel was Bowling Green, and Ashland, Linda Linda, and Steve DuPont. Linda used to travel up. She was a nurse. Used to travel to a clinic area in Ashland, and they had clinics there.
So I don't know.
They had a nurse
I don't know
station
what her
there as
maiden name
well.
is.
And
I can call her.
and then everything was going so good that they thought we're going to put it in Frankfurt.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's when things kind of began to fall apart. And so your locations were Louisville, Covington, Lexington, Bowling Green, Ashland, and Frankfurt. Yeah, and there were good people in Frankfurt. In fact, they even put the medical director from Louisville, who was Dr. Pat.
I know who you're talking about. I cannot
Yeah.
remember.
Dr. Pat, I'll think of it.
Oh, I know her.
Who was it?
Oh, yeah. I've got her picture in my mind. Oh, she was great.
Pat. She went to U of L, and she
Married a
was
doctor.
right, married a doctor, and
She was really good.
he drowned. She was doing work in Africa, and she and her husband
Pat.
were on a call there, and he went across on this lake. The boat sank, and he died. She came back, had they had 2 or 3 children, and she came back and became the director of the commission.
They changed
for
the name at
state.
that time, didn't they? Crippled Children's Services. Was that when that changed?
I'm not
That
sure.
changed after I left.
I'm not sure.
So it was still the commission.
Crippled
I've
Children's
always
Services is older
heard
than
of it as-
commission, right?
Pat's
Crippled
name-
Children. No, it was Commission
Pat's
for
name was
Handicapped
a
Children
very common
first.
name.
Then it went to Crippled Children's Services. Then it went to Commission for Children with Special Health Care Needs. I don't know what it's called now.
Now it's called the Office for Children with Special Health Care Needs because there is no more commissioners. There's no
Okay.
board of commissioners.
Okay.
so it's
There's
called-
no more commission.
Right. It's called the
Oh,
Office for
well, I'm
Children
going to
with.
quit here.
And we're still there. We just
and-
call different. We have a
And
medical
that
board.
building that we had as the commission
The treatment
is
center?
now autism services.
Well, she worked there.
I worked
Jennifer
there on
worked
Eastern
there.
Parkway too,
Yeah.
but now we are located on Whittington Parkway.
When
Wow.
when
That
we
was
went
when Kozer and the commission split, was it?
Oh, that's right.
when the state took it over, we then went into the health departments, right?
Right.
And at that point, then that's when we expanded to Paducah. We then had hearing clinics in Madisonville,
Newtown.
Barberville. Because we had and we took over the hearing conservation program at that time. The hearing conservation program was all the testing that was done in the school systems for hearing testing, and we got all those people that were doing those testings, except for Jefferson County. They had somebody by themselves. But that's when Michelle King and we had Mary Chamberlain, who was the initial one in Louisville area. Mary Chamberlain was responsible for all of the Louisville area and the Covington area for the hearing conservation program. When she retired, Michelle King and I then were responsible for going out and doing all the testing, or the testing of the kids that failed their initial testing. But we got that program as a result of the Department for Human Resources combining the health departments and the commission together. That's when that happened.
Can you
Sure
tell me a
was.
little bit about what you did, like your day-to-day work as when you were a speech pathologist, and what you kind of did with the kids, or did you do
Well,
more administration, or what was your job
Yeah.
like?
I initially was a therapist. John was director of the program. John Schwab. I think he maybe have may have been the first in the area of speech and hearing. And then he got a job with the government in the Washington area,
Yeah,
and
it's real big.
he moved his family to
Virginia, did they?
Virginia.
Mhm.
Yes,
He passed away,
yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
Sean did.
And he died, and then his wife died, and I had communicated with. They had one child, a daughter, and I had communicated with her for a while, and that's been 20 years ago or more. But anyway, I went. I guess I was the second
Yes, sir.
speech and hearing person at the commission, and then one day I saw this young fellow playing with the ball out in the
God, here he goes.
lot, and I thought, gee, he looks like a nice kid. No,
This is being recorded now. Come
Oh,
on.
you
That's okay. I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Anyway, no, Tom had finished his degree, and I always kidded that he came up with a
With a
basketball
yo-yo.
under his arm, but he came in, and then you were my assistant there for a while,
Yes.
and really helped me so much. About the time a lady named Patricia Ryan Coleman,
This
Your
one right here.
Kubiak,
Time.
all those names, that's me.
yeah, she came and became the one of the intake secretaries at the clinic. But we had two buildings there then. The first building was where the medical person was, and then all of the supportive staff, the nurses,
Nursing staff, medical records. Yeah.
secretaries,
Finance.
and, yeah.
You remember all that.
The person who did the intake was a nurse named Ivy Long.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know if you've had that name or not.
I have not heard that name.
Well, Ivy Long was the intake. They would come to Ivy's desk first, and she'd go through the paperwork, and then
New patients.
they would start, they'd be a patient, and they would start wherever they needed to start. And another key person there was Margie Murphy.
Medical records, director of medical
She was in
records.
charge of all the secretarial
Okay.
support,
Yeah.
and she used to travel out into the by roads to the clinics, and